I have been complaining for a number of years about not being able to speak Spanish. I um, have taken Spanish courses several times. And other than picking up a few more vocabulary words, I never really felt like I was getting any closer to being able to speak Spanish fluently. I was talking to some people and they recommended this company called BaseLang. Being who I am, I did a lot of research. So I looked up a lot of information on the company and the CEO of the company, Connor Grooms. And I actually watched his documentary, Spanish in a Month, and was quite surprised to see, with the dedication that he put in, that within, I think in the first little bit, it was like within the first couple of weeks, and then ultimately by the month's end, that he was conversational in Spanish. And I looked at him with envy, I'm not gonna lie, but I was really looking at him thinking, I wish that was me. I wish that I was at that point where I could just speak Spanish effortless. Apparently I can't speak English effortlessly, but I wanted to just be able to speak Spanish effortlessly, and no amount of courses that I took seemed to get me any closer to that. The latest thing that I went into was with Duolingo, and I'm sorry, but Duolingo actually taught me some incorrect phrases, and there's no way for me to know whether or not what the app is teaching me is wrong or right, because I'm not going to question the app every time it teaches me a new sentence. But when it taught me a sentence and then I tried to apply that sentence in the real world, people, the native Spanish speakers looked at me like, what are you trying to say? What you're saying right now is not making sense. So I felt at that point that I really couldn't trust the app. And even with the app, I was, answering all these questions. I didn't really feel like I was getting any closer to fluency. Even though it had a little fluency meter on it that was showing me that I was getting better, I was really just getting better at answering questions on an app and not really getting better at speaking Spanish. Because even though it does provide you a few opportunities here and there to say certain sentences, you say them, and really and truly, if you say them incorrectly, the app really doesn't pick up on those nuances in the language. It's just checking to see if you're repeating what you're reading correctly, and that's about it. And again, I never really felt like it was getting me any closer to speaking Spanish. So, I have finally decided to take the plunge. I actually signed up for BaseLang. Actually scheduled my first class. I will admit I am absolutely petrified because, other than hola, ¿cómo estás? Bien, gracias, y tú, I don't know how to carry much more of a conversation after that. So I'm really excited, even though I am like petrified, nervous. I am really excited because this is the first step in order for me to really get to that point. Right now, I'm in my classroom. In the morning times here, I teach Chinese children English online, and in the afternoons, it's usually when I am tutoring adults from from different parts of the world, and I'm tutoring them in English. And the thing that I tell them most of all, because a lot of them call and they all say to me, oh, I want to get better with English. I want to improve my fluency. How do I do it? Well, as I tell them, I can't give you a magic pill that's going to get you from where you are to fluent, but all you need to do is practice. And like anything else, practice gets better. You want to get better at riding a bike? You got to practice riding the bike. You don't read books on how to ride a bike. You don't watch somebody ride a bike. You actually get on that bike and you ride it. And that's how you get better. You might have a couple of times when you stumble and you fall, but you get back on that bike and you keep going. And after I watched Connor's documentary, and I've seen some other videos that he's done as well too, one of the biggest things that he says is, you want to get better at speaking Spanish? Well, guess what? You gotta speak Spanish. And it's the same thing that I say to my English students, and it's the same thing that applies to any language that you want to learn. If you want to get better at a language, what what you got to do is you got to start speaking a language. So in the beginning, you might sound a little rough. And when you think about it, that's how children learn. In the beginning, when they're first learning how to speak, they will use a sentence like me want grocery store or me want bike or, that kind of a way. And then over time, we start correcting them. Oh, it's not me want this. It's I want this. And it's the same thing going into Spanish. So there may be a lot of me wants in my initial sentences, but I'm hoping that with continued practice and with the awesome teachers that BaseLang that they have, that within a very short period of time, I'm hoping that I can get from the me wants to the I wants, and that I can put a sentence together that makes sense, and that I could really have those conversations in Spanish that I've been dying to have. I keep, lately I've been meeting people who speak Spanish, and I'm just heartbroken that I can't have a conversation with them. It's like I have a whole bunch of Spanish vocabulary in my head, and I have nowhere to put it, and I have no idea the order the order that it should be in order for me to have that conversation. So I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm hoping that I can just record this entire experience, because I really want to see the difference between me going from hola, ¿cómo estás? Bien, gracias. ¿Y tú? To just really having those easy conversations in Spanish. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited. This is day 1, March 1st, 2018, and we will see where this journey takes me. So I will follow up in a week and go from there. So I'm really excited, and yay, I shall speak Spanish soon, hopefully.